How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid Group. I've been getting the messages, Dre, what is going on? We're supposed to be seeing those highs. We want to see us get past that $40 range and make that room the 44 and so forth. But I'm going to tell you right now, stocks just don't go straight up. They have to pull back. They have to consolidate. The euphoria does disappear after a while, and we want to see how the stock is going to be performing naturally. We've seen there's a lot of big money flowing into the clean energy sectors, EV being one of them. Shoot, you can see Tesla going in at all-time highs, going up every day, it looks like. But you know what? I won't waste any more time. Let's keep the focus on Lucid. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in a bearish case scenario and as well as in a bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information. We already know when it comes to the short interest, it can have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and as well as the selling behavior like on the institutional side and as well as on the retail side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid Group. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $36.53, being down 1.24%. On the low, it tested $35.73, and then on the high, testing $40.17. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 119.549 million shares, and then for the average volume over 10 trading days being at 93.151 million shares. But one thing that we do notice, we did have above average volume on the day, and it's part of the reasons why we ended up seeing highs of $40.17. But of course, there was a lot of profit taking on the day, but for the most part, I felt we held up fairly well. When we take a look at our chart, which is a 1-year daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it's right around 80.14. So it is in the overbought territory. So do know if you're going to be purchasing at this price point for Lucid, you're paying a premium. And then when we take a look at the moving averages on our chart, we have strength above the 50-day, the 100-day, the 200-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. So we're seeing a lot of strength here. So what I want to see from Lucid is being able to hold up this area here right around $35.50. If it's unable to do that, then the next area of support that you want to see hold up preferably will be here right around $32.53. And if that doesn't hold up, then of course you're going to want to see some strength right around this $30 level. I'd love to see Lucid kind of hold down 30. That'd be preferable. So now if we want to look at the bullish case scenario here, we have that continuation of holding up this $35 level. We held up $35.73 on the day. We want to see another push going to this $40 range. We already know $40 is a resistance area for Lucid, a psychological area, and with enough volume we could easily push right through it and being able to get to around $44.10. And if we could pass this particular area, then of course I'm going to be looking forward to seeing a strong move to the upside so we could fill that gap. But hey, let's see how it performs. But for the most part, as far as the performance from Lucid, not too bad, just a little bit of a cool off. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So scrolling down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So what we could see here from November the 1st, we could see quite busy. So we have US Capital Wealth Advisors going in with just over 119,000 shares. We also have Barber Financial Group that went in with just over 67,000 shares. And we also have Independent Advisor Alliance that went in with just over 123,000 shares. Again, these are just the filing dates. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, from the dark pool short volume ratio, you can see it's at 39.85%. And then for the dark pool short volume being just over 48 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 1.8 million, updated 21 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 0.62%. Now, when we take a look at at the history of the short volume ratio, we could see for the close of the 28th, which was last week Thursday, it was at 34.26, and then the close for the Friday that just passed, it'd be 39.85. So it'll be very interesting to see what the numbers will be later on in the evening, but one thing for sure is that Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential. So if any of you guys come across those numbers, let us know inside of the comments section. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid Group. So we can see here on the inflow is 885, and then on the outflow it was 986. So we end up having an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown on the large, we had 9.52 million shares. Of course, all these numbers are in the millions. And then when we take a look at the medium, it was 465, and then on the small it was 411. When we take a look at the outflow side on the large, it was 4.88. On the medium it was 535, and then on the small it was 446. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for November the 1st, which is today, having that inflow of 4.64 million, taking the difference between the large scale orders. So when we take a look further at the breakdown, you could see on the small we had a lot more selling that was happening. So this means there was a good amount of profit taking happening on the retail side. Another thing is when we take a look at what was happening on the medium, again, we had a lot more selling as well. And then when we take a look at the large scale orders, which we just covered, you can see we had more inflows coming in. So institutions were loading up on shares potentially here, because when we see these large scale orders, it gives us a bullish signal. So the one thing that we can also go over, and I want to make sure I'm being clear here, I know you're going to ask, so why would retail be selling mostly out of their positions? We did have some inflows, but like I said in previous videos, there were many people who bought Lucid at a higher cost. So since it's actually near that area, then of course they're going to be more likely to sell and be like, all right, I'm going to be dumping these shares. So that's one of the reasons why I feel like the selling was fairly high on the retail side. So now when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was actually at 7.49%. So this is really good, because this does show us that, you know what, there were many people who were holding on to their shares that they purchased. And also at the same time, we know there's a lot of traders inside of this play, also a lot of bag holders wanting to unload. But for the most part, we can see there is still some strength in the play. And like I said in the previous video, it would be great to see if Lucid could hold up at least $35, and we were able to do that today. So now let's jump into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Lucid Group, there's a few things that I want to go over. First and foremost, congratulations, Lucid, for holding up the $35 level. I was looking for that, and I was also saying at the worst to hold up at least the $30 range. So since we were able to do that today, shows a lot of strength, and it also does mean many who were buying up shares for last week are still holding on to their positions, and we saw that very clear when we took a look at the turnover ratio. For sure, we know there's a lot of traders who are inside of this play, and these are one of the things why it ends up being very volatile. You see, it ended up reaching the highs at $40, and we know as far as $40 is concerned, this is an area of resistance. There's a lot of pressure here, but like I was saying inside of the technicals, the moment we can gain some momentum above 40, things can get very, very interesting for Lucid. When we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it still continues to have short squeeze potential. No surprises there due to the fact this is a growth stock. They just delivered their cars out. They have a lot to prove to the market, so that's why we're not surprised that the market sentiment is fairly negative. And we also do see, as far as for the EV sector as a whole, it was fairly strong today. We had many stocks that were running up that have to do in regards to the infrastructure plan. We have Tesla continuing to crush it, going on these all-time highs, and literally all of the EV clean energy plays that I keep on my watch list were green, except for Lucid, and the other one was Li Auto. So keeping that in mind, I want you guys to know this is a volatile play, and if you are going into Lucid, as far as from a long-term perspective, you want to start building out your positions, I would say continue to be patient. There's no reason why you should be buying at these highs. You are going to get many opportunities, and I don't care about how much hate you guys give me for that. I know many of you are hardcore fans. Hey, I hold shares for the long term as well, but for anyone who's starting a position, I think it's fair to say, well, you know what? Be patient and make sure you can get in at a better average cost than what you see now, because there's still a lot of euphoria going through the play. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.